But I'm saying this man said, I got heart in my blood. I'm going to play with one ankle, still drop 50, and we might lose, but at least I did my thing.
When you're drafting a play for the ball to be in Russell Westbrook's hands for longer than 5 seconds, when you know that there's a turnover or a bad shot, which is going to hit the side of the rim, or something bad happens, like LaMelo Ball.
No, stop it. Stop it. And Jello's coming for 6 minutes of the year.
Jello's not even on that squad right now, so right now, just let that be.
So what do you guys think about the COVID impact on sports?
Okay, well, it definitely it helps certain players that, for example, in the bubble last year, that are not used to having fans talk about their mothers, all their things that
You talking about LeBron James?
No, I'm talking about the bench players on his team who were just not used to getting hecklers.
Right.
And when they was in the playoffs, for example, in the bubble you had no fans. No, but we're talking about what the impact of COVID has done, right? It started from there. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about how that championship has an asterisk, right? Because let's be real, if the Lakers were versus Miami, you see South Beach? The distraction of Kyle Kuzma?
Every championship is always something that happens.
You saw what happened with James Harden, right? When he came to Miami. It's a different type of levels of distraction out there. But what I'm trying to say is, regardless, the impact of COVID has definitely watered down the sport for me, because now, for example, when someone has COVID, they're out for 10 days. So as a team, you basically don't get chemistry now. Now you have to figure out what you're going to do for the next 10 days, or you're wondering if the next player is going to get it because there's so much contradiction. But what I find for the sport now is that they're losing money because, actually not losing money, because fans are getting played. Because you think you're going to go, for example, you want to get a Raptors game, Golden State, oh, by the way, Steph Curry, COVID, can't see you. But the ticket is purchased. But yeah, to me, I just find that it's not helping in terms of like watching the sport, because you don't know what to predict. And it's definitely, it's not making the best of the best play each other. That's what I think. What y'all think, Reggie?
I think it's one of those cards you got to play with, right? What are you gonna do, right? You're gonna stop COVID from happening. You're gonna create a bubble and erase COVID. We've seen even through talk about the NBA, right? Because we've seen like that you can't control like a virus like Corona, right? So you're gonna have to deal with it. So what's the impact? They're trying to mitigate it, but dollar's gonna be lost probably when you do the bottom line. And players not playing due to protocol. It applies to every team, every team that's in the league. So if anything, control your players.
Control your players.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's a job. Everybody's got a job to do.
How are you going to control?
So you have to go out less. You have to try to manage your contacts more. And again, if it applies to everyone.
Manage your contracts more. What's that?
Manage your contacts. You're going to
put in the contracts because of COVID regulations.
VP, why are you laughing, VP?
You cannot step outside. And
hold on, VP.
Is there going to be a COVID regulation?
I want to know what VP has to say. VP, why are you laughing?
I think it's great what COVID's done for sports.
Why were you laughing, VP?
Just because of, for example, like teams, right? Like for example, like players who normally would never get an opportunity to play in the NBA. They'd be stuck in the G League. Now get a chance to get called up because of, like, for example, there was a one time last year where the 76ers had, I think, their whole starting lineup, 6 guys or something was out with COVID. And they had to call up a bunch of players from the D League to come at the G League or whatever to come and play. That's a great opportunity. These guys now get paid more money. These guys get to actually
exposure to see what they can do on the NBA.
You know what I mean? See what they can do on the NBA floor. And on top of that too, you got to remember that it helps. For example, when it comes to playoffs, when your team's coming into deep runs, now your team is used to playing 10 players down on the roster. Your team's used to playing 11, 12 players down on the roster. When traditionally, some coaches just like, you know what, I'm just playing 7 guys, my 6 man, and like 1 or 2 subs on the bench, and like that's just how we rock, right? Maybe the 9th guy might get some minutes here and there, but I think this is a great chance because there's a guy who plays for Miami.
Yes.
Like he's like a backup point guard. And he's a guy who I've never heard of before, and I can't remember his name. I don't even know him. But because he's getting more minutes now, I'm able to see him a lot more. I know it's such a vague story. I don't know this guy's name, but the point is, due to COVID, I'm seeing this guy I've never seen before, and he's making the most of his opportunity.
Talking about Max Strauss?
Thank you.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So, I just think it's great. I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great because it really highlights how good of a coach are these coaches, right? How good are you as a coach when Luka Doncic isn't there?
But for a fan perspective, are they here to see the players from the G League or are they here to see the stars? Because last time I checked, the salary cap raised, right? So that means the ticket price raised. So now you're trying to tell me it is a good opportunity for the new players, but last time I checked, when I want to see Lakers against Brooklyn, I want to see Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden versus AD, Russell Westbrook, and LeBron James.
People are just happy to be there, though, at this point, you know?
People are happy to be there, but okay, that's true.
But I'm going to say this, you got to roll the dice because what happened in the NBA playoffs when the Raptors won the championship in Toronto, what 2 players fell off?
Okay.
It wasn't
had nothing to do with COVID.
It wasn't COVID related.
But here's my point, though. My point. Thank you very much. I'm happy you said it's not because of COVID. My point is that when you're a fan and you go to a game, you always roll that dice because it could be tip off, and Embiid rolls his ankle on a tip off, and he's out for the whole game, and you pay to see Embiid play, right? It could be like LeBron in Detroit. I went all the way to Detroit because I know if I go to Detroit for a home game to see the Lakers, that's the cheapest ticket in the whole entire country.
Well, I got to counteract to that because regardless, even if the guy gets injured, he could be an Isaiah Thomas where he messes up his ankle and he says, "Nah, coach, I'm not going out the game. I'm going to play on that one ankle and I'm going to disrespect because these fans paid that hard-earned money to see me." When you have COVID, you can't be on the courts. That's a fact.
Make no sense, buddy.
Am I wrong?
Make no
sense. How's that make no sense? Because the man tried to put it in that same theory, and I'm trying to tell you,
an injury and COVID is different.
That's the way he was selling it.
On that note,
the same theory, if you get injured, you got to tip your wave to it, right? But I'm saying this man said, I got heart in my blood. I'm going to play with one ankle, still drop 50, and we might lose, but at least I did my thing.
As a reminder,
shout out to
Isaiah
Thomas.
The 1980s, 30 years ago.
It's
People don't got that kind of heart.
LeBron James has injured his ankle in a game, and he's still right.
All right, looking at the Lakers' current roster, do you think they can win a chip this year?
Yes, sir.
Nah, they can, but not with this roster. Because
it's possible.
No, I'm gonna tell you what. If you want to do your history, let's look at LeBron.
It's doable.
Let's look at LeBron James.
Go ahead, break it down for us.
Rosters,
Break it down.
All right, LeBron has always been the point forward / guard, whatever you want to give him the title. Okay.
Right.
He needs at least a top 5 player currently on his squad.
Anthony Davis.
All right?
AD.
That's a fact. Then he needs at least a top 10 player in their position.
Russell Westbrook.
That's a fact. But then what is missing on the floor right now is 3-and-D specialists. They let them go, like Alex Caruso. I would have never let that guy go.
The GOAT.
I would never let Wesley Matthews go. Because they can all shoot threes and they can play defense. In Caldwell Pope, but unfortunately...
No, I don't think
you have to give Caldwell Pope to get Westbrook, so that is what it is. So you have to let that happen, right? But if you look at in the past, if you look at Miami, Shane Battier, Mike Miller, you know what I mean, Chalmers, they all knew their role. Dwayne Wade was the only person who couldn't shoot threes. Tony Allen was never.
So you're saying the Lakers,
Miami Heat.
The Lakers.
I'm talking about players on his team, but Tony Allen's finished.
So you're saying one of the major reasons the Lakers will not win the championship this year is because they don't have 3-and-D guys.
Because LeBron with AD and Westbrook, they need space because all of them.
Trevor Ariza.
Yeah, Trevor Ariza, has he played? When has he played? Even before COVID, when has he played?
I'm just saying. He's back
yeah. You want to rely on someone who's give service to Kobe Bryant, the New York Knicks, a journeyman in the NBA to win you a ring. Right now with all these young bucks.
He's an NBA champion.
He is an NBA champion, but at the end of the day, you want to tell me about somebody who did something in 2009 that's going to help you with 2022? Just saying. Go ahead. What do you think?
Reggie, go ahead. Let him know.
You're capping right now. Like, you can't say that 3-and-D guys is what's going to stop LeBron James in year 19 getting a chip. You know, I think there's bigger issues in LA land. You know, they need younger guys that can produce, right? They have younger guys like Malik Monk and other guys on the bench like THT, but can they produce under pressure? Can Russell Westbrook cohabit with can live with LeBron James?
Russell
Can play with
Westbrook's
LeBron
strength,
James? Can win with LeBron James?
What's
right?
his strength though?
Who?
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook's strength is his aggressiveness.
Aggressive with the ball in his hands or without the ball in his hands?
Both.
And who is the point guard on the squad?
The point guard on the squad, as of right now, I would say it's the de facto point guard is LeBron James, but on paper it's Russell Westbrook.
No, but we're talking about in terms of running the offense.
In terms of running the offense, I think it's tight right now because Westbrook's still getting close to 10 assists a game, so he's touching the ball. LeBron James still the best point guard in the NBA in my eyes, so he's still touching the ball. Point is, you said that 3-and-D guys are the reason why they might not make it. I think it's a stretch. I think it's easy scapegoat, but Russell Westbrook got to be able to work with LeBron James, and I think that their young guys got to produce, and AD got to be AD, LeBron got to be LeBron, and I think they can win the ring. But I think the Russell Westbrook thing, which is a big deal in sports right now and in basketball, it got to work. And I think it's an easy way out for LeBron James if it doesn't work.
I have one question.
VP, why are you laughing in the background,
I have one
VP?
question for you before VP interjects. If you had a chance to go back, would you have taken DeMar DeRozan or you would have taken Westbrook?
They were not able to get DeMar DeRozan because DeMar DeRozan was not.
Yeah, he signed. Who would you pick? He didn't ask you.
I would definitely pick DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
Are you serious?
VP, continue on that. Go ahead.
I think the Lakers, if they want to win a championship, need to get rid of one person, and solely one person.
And who is that?
Who do you think?
For what? What are you gonna do? You're gonna get rid of him for what?
He used to coach in
To give minutes to Malik Monk?
No.
Gotta get rid of Frank Vogel. If you watch basketball,
Yes.
Vogel?
do you watch the Lakers games?
Yes.
Have you watched the Lakers
Which
games?
coach in the NBA could handle what's going on in LA right now?
I'm asking you the question. If you watch basketball and
Yes.
if you watch these basketball games, I'm gonna ask you one question.
Yeah.
Why, in the last, I don't know,
20 years, man. Even that.
2 months, is Russell Westbrook getting the last shot when the game is on the line? Why is the ball in Russell
Yeah,
Westbrook?
but which coach was able to tame this
Let
guy?
me finish.
It's not about
Let me
taming,
finish.
it's about
Why
new
do you
personnel.
call a timeout and you're drafting a play for the ball to be in Russell Westbrook's hands for longer than 5 seconds when you know that there's a turnover or a bad shot which is going to hit the side of the rim or something bad happens? Like, he's just such a passionate, intense person, and he knows what's on the line right now and what's at stake, that it's affecting his game. And for some reason, Frank Vogel can't understand that, and he's still putting the ball in his hands. You got guys like Carmelo Anthony, you know what I mean? Shouts out the real Melo. You know what I mean?
The original Melo. Follow your youngins.
Manu Ginobili. He's not.
Let me just finish. Carmelo Anthony's doing a great job right now. When you just give him his spot-up shots, let him go to work. He's been averaging over 15 points, coming off the bench, and it's the fourth quarters especially is when he's really starting to shine. But the problem is that when it comes to late game situations, Frank Vogel goes away from AD, he goes away from LeBron James, he goes away from Carmelo Anthony, he goes away from what's working, and he puts the ball in Russell Westbrook's hands. And Russell Westbrook continually, night after night, just watching. I just challenge you to just please go watch Russell Westbrook.
Chance to spend a lot of time together during this long and winding itinerant road trip as Westbrook tried to revive the ball.
I agree with your point, but I think that any coach, or if there's a coach that could handle this situation right now, they're probably hired, right? They're probably on another roster right now. So to go ahead and to say that to fire Frank Vogel would help the chip situation. Yeah, but who's going to replace him?
But you know what's happening? I'll tell you what's happening. He's getting the pass because he got that little Fugazi championship called the COVID championship.
It's not a Fugazi championship.
It's a
Fugazi
championship
now.
No, it's a Fugazi championship.
No, it's not.
Because I'm telling you, if fans could be there, it would be a whole... You understand? They had like sound effects. They had computer sounds when they were playing. Like, those weren't real fans. Those were fans from like the game in January. It wasn't actually real. So like the heckler was not there. So it's like I'm playing with music, you know, like you have a speaker and you're in the YMCA and you're doing your thing. But let's get to the point. The point is, the Lakers, if you already know, the only way it's gonna work is, like you said, LeBron has to do what he did to the coach in Cleveland when Ty Lue came over. He got rid of that guy.
So after he got rid of David Blatt, what happened?
What happened?
What happened?
Ty Lue.
Yeah, but he told Ty Lue don't say nothing.
What happened that season? They won a championship.
Thank you.
Okay, but what was Ty Lue doing?
On that note, get rid of the coach and they got a chip. That's straight facts.
All right, so LeBron on his 19th year, do you think his championship window is closing?
It's his 19th year, man.
Obviously.
Like, how old's LeBron?
37 in December.
37?
Yeah.
He's 36. He'll be 37 next month.
Tom Brady in the NBA. You know
Pretty
what I mean?
much. You know, are we talking about greatness or
I'm
age?
talking about in terms of at his age.
Yeah.
He's still doing things that people that are 21 and 22 should be doing. You know what I mean? Like when you're,
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like he's like, you know, I don't know. I just really think that
he is not human.
LeBron James is
He's lived up to the hype.
Definitely.
LeBron James has exceeded the hype, and I think the other thing you got to remember is there's nothing more that our society loves to tear down than the black man.
Facts.
And LeBron James has dodged every single possible bullet to this day. To this day. You know what I mean? To this day. You know what I mean? Like, there's no LeBron James like Obama. There's no cheating scandal.
Nope.
You know what I mean? As much there's no stories about LeBron doing no foulness. There's no stories
Yes.
about LeBron getting
You're right,
arrested
you're right.
with no LeBron.
What's the biggest scandal LeBron was known for?
The biggest scandal-
was Miami.
The decision, eh?
And the thing is, what was the problem with the
Weak.
decision? The problem with the decision was,
Yeah.
the problem with the decision was, it was a black man making a decision about his financial future and what he wants to do with his life. That's what pissed off
And that's what
America.
everybody does with their life in general.
But then what LeBron James allowed was for the future of all other NBA players to start making noise. Because if LeBron James can make his decision, that now opens the door for
anybody
other
else.
NBA players to make their
Right.
decisions.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's a beautiful thing that LeBron ended up having to be the scapegoat for that. But you know, he won 2 championships. Like LeBron said, he had to go to Miami because that was his 4 years of college. He never went to
Yes,
college.
sir.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
So LeBron went to college, learned how to win a championship from an excellent person like Pat Riley.
Facts.
Right? Go do the homework on Pat Riley. And then on top of that, once he did that, came back to Cleveland, what'd he do? Same town that
Same
burned his jersey.
formula. What is it?
Same town that burned his
3 and
jersey.
D, All-Star,
Right.
You know what I mean, specialist.
Same town that basically, when he left, said, "We don't ever want to hear you back." The GM of the whole of the Cleveland Cavaliers said what he said.
The owner, Daniel,
Right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But LeBron did his thing. Go ahead, Reggie.
I mean, you said it, right? This is 19th year. Like, it's supposed to close, right? Is how it works, right? In
So
sports.
this year, do you think he's gonna win?
This year, I think he's got a shot. As long as LeBron James is in the league, he's averaging above 20 points per game and a bunch of assists. He's
When
got
does
a
he not
squad.
average more than 20 points?
That's
a
the
game?
thing. That means that LeBron James, every time he steps on the court, to my knowledge, he could go to the finals and win, right? Simple as that. So this year, is it closing? Yeah. Is it competitive? Heck yeah. Is he going to make it? The odds are against him. Right now, the Nets are the favorites. But I really think that LeBron James, you can't count him out.
The Nets are
What? The
relax.
Nets are the favorites?
The Nets are the favorites
The Nets
based
are the
off
favorite.
of
Off
right
of
now,
Vegas,
or
off of
be-
Vegas,
No,
off
no,
of
no,
Vegas.
but that's
What?
fine.
Off of Vegas.
But based off of what
What?
you've seen in
Off of
basketball,
Vegas.
no, based off of what you've seen right now, the first month of basketball.
From what I've seen in basketball
The
right
first
now,
month of
I would say
basketball.
the favorites has to be. I
You're on that
like
Westbrook?
the Nets. I like the Nets still.
Okay, all right.
Kevin
that's
Durant
fine. That's fine,
is having his best season
Okay.
of all time right now. Don't listen to me, VP. Listen to me.
Okay,
Kevin Durant's having his best season of all time.
okay. Can I ask
James
you?
Harden right now is just getting acclimated to the new rule
Okay.
of no fouls.
Yeah.
Okay? The
Question-
Nets got other All-Stars, former All-Stars, Aldridge, Griffin.
Paul Millsap.
They got Team USA Joe Harris. And don't forget, Kevin
Whoa,
Durant, his
you said-
game,
you
his,
said
I'm
All-Star.
just telling you the roster,
Team
his
USA.
game is suited for the playoffs. He's suited for this type of basketball right now. We know they just lost to Golden State early in the season, but VP, work with me. The Golden State Warriors are not better, regardless, in my estimation.
Can I ask you a question?
What happened
From the
when they
Nets.
saw them this week?
On
What was the
Tuesday. That's what I was waiting
Yes.
to ask.
What
this
It's
man.
the regular
happened?
season, VP. It's the
What
regular season.
happened?
VP is the regular
What
season.
happened? What happened?
What happened?
What happened? What
They
happened?
lost.
What
They
happened?
lost, but
What
No,
happened
no, no,
in
no, no, no,
New?
no. Yo,
What happened in New
I gotta ask
in
you
Brooklyn?
Yo, what the man did? He did a logo 3 with James Harden.
How
and
many
Kevin
points did he
Durant
drop?
on the bench watching at the.
How many points did he drop?
Doesn't even matter.
50 ball.
It doesn't matter.
So
what matters
How
is
many
that
threes did he
the
hit?
man-
Let me
9.
ask you guys, who's
The
you
team that
guys'
you told me
favorites?
is the favorite.
If it's not LeBron James, who's winning the championship, guys?
Oh my
If
God.
the stars are aligned with
Reggie.
Klay Thompson and
Tell
James
me, tell
Wiseman,
me.
it's going to be the Warriors.
The Warriors?
Here's
Yeah.
5 teams right now. Here's
No,
5
it's the
teams
Warriors
that's going to
if
win
the
a
stars are
championship.
aligned.
Before the Lakers, here's 5
5
teams.
before the Lakers? Okay.
Phoenix Suns.
No.
I'm
Before
just
the
telling you,
Lakers?
before the Lakers.
Right,
Before the
I'm
Lakers?
going to
Let me
listen,
finish.
but I'm going to say
Let me
yes or
finish.
no.
I'm gonna
to say yes or no to your answers.
Milwaukee Bucks,
Possibly.
Possibly.
Right? the Brooklyn Nets before the LA Lakers,
Possibly.
Yes.
right? And then after that, we got 2 wild card teams.
I want to
Right?
hear them. Go ahead.
Are you ready?
Don't
for
be
I want
this?
you-
disrespectful right now to LeBron James, please.
No, I want to hear them. 2 wild
Me too, I
cards.
want to hear them.
If
Go ahead.
Denver comes back in
Oh
the
my
second
goodness.
half of the
What's wrong
season,
with this guy?
Jokic
Yeah.
and Jamal Murray,
Oh my god.
if they can end
The
up
guy coming
cooking-
off the ACL tear, I love Jamal Murray, our Canadian man. But
What
is
did
he
Westbrook
really
do
going to
when he
get
came
LeBron
back?
James out the playoffs?
He almost did last time in the bubble.
Who's the
On
last
a
team?
side note, MPJ's apparently might be out for the season.
Might be.
Back issue.
Might be, but I'm saying if they can get their health together, Denver,
Okay.
they're a serious problem.
There's a big if.
They have a serious problem, and don't forget they have the length to compete with the Lakers because they got Michael Porter Jr., they got Jokic, they got
Jeff Green.
I mean, they actually have statistically on paper they can match up.
You're losing me,
Gordon,
but I
Aaron
hear your
Gordon.
argument. I hear your argument. And who is the last team VP? Don't be disrespectful to
Yeah, I
LeBron
want to
James,
hear
please.
this. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because Denver's possible. Go
Who's the last team?
Charlotte Hornets, just on the middle.
My goodness! Stop this! Stop this!
Blasphemous.
No, VP, yo, take the
Listen.
mic. Take the mic from VP.
Listen. That was
The
funny.
Hornets? You're kidding,
No, he
right?
was
LaMelo
joking.
Ball.
He was
No,
joking.
stop
He was
it.
joking. He was
And
joking.
LaMelo
Stop
trust.
it. And Jello's coming for 6 men of the year.
Jello's not even on that squad right now, so right now, just let that be.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap, guys. We done. We done.
Yo, LeBron, I don't think, if he doesn't win
But
this
also,
year.
it's not Charlotte Hornets.
Stop it,
Chicago
buddy.
Bulls are actually my 15.
No, relax. Chicago's nice, but
It's a wrap.
relax.
Straight facts.
Because
You know
the
what
only
time
team
it is.
that
You know what time it
compete-
is.
no.
Name another team with 2 starters averaging over
It's not
25
about the
points.
starters. It's about the team as a whole. Because basketball is from your starters to your bench, right? The Spurs have won 5 championships. They've done it with a system. Not to say that there's a team like the Spurs today, but I'm trying to say is no matter what, if you have a team all around that can compete and actually take you to a Game 7, it ain't going to be the Denver Nuggets. It's not going to be Charlotte Hornets. The wild card team at the end of the day would be Utah Jazz if they finally get it together. Because they've been nice last year
Stop it,
and they
B.
messed up. That's a fact.
All right, so I got a question for y'all regarding 2 particular NBA players and their behavior. Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving.
But that's VP's man. Ben Simmons, talk about it.
Yeah, Ben Simmons, that's my son. You know, but at the end of the day, it's his mental health, right? And what's the most important subject in especially in the month of November, right? It's about recognizing men's mental health.
Is it real, though?
Seriously, yeah,
Real talk.
100%. So
Is
at
he
the end of the
really
day-
ill?
And listen, and this is
You
the
able to-
whole.
you be able to
this is-
question a
this
man's
is-
mental health?
This is
I
the
know
whole.
you- it's
This is
tough.
the whole issue, though. This is the whole issue: is why is a man being treated so harshly because he's putting his mental health before anything else? Right? Look at you. Look at yourself right now. You literally just said like, why? And this is the problem with society. I'm not saying you're wrong, like because at first I felt the exact same way you did until I took a look in the mirror and I said, who am I to say that I know what Ben Simmons is going through? Because
It
you
just
know
looks
what?
suspicious. We can question because
You know what? But
Why does it look suspicious?
just
What are we
because
coming
the
from?
way it started with like the switch of agent with Rich Paul and
He's
then
been with Rich Paul.
everything
all
started
last
with
year.
the like him not like performing the playoffs, then the backlash of the Sixers fans.
So let me tell you this right now. Have
And
you
he
ever
could-
worked?
he
Have
could-
you ever worked somewhere for an employer you don't like? No, probably
People
not. 'cause
still
you're-
go to
listen,
work, though.
Hold on, wait, hold on. So you are part of the rare population on this earth that
No, that's
that
not
you
true.
actually have never. So let me explain you. I'll tell you about something when you work for an employer you don't like, and so you probably don't
I
know
get it.
about that.
But people
when
still show up to
no,
work.
wait, you don't get it because I promise if you do get it, you won't be saying this.
Preach.
Have you ever worked somewhere where literally you wake up? And when you wake up, you're like, "Fuck, I gotta be dealing with this
Multiple
shit, man."
times.
Stop. No, because if you did, you wouldn't be saying what
Brother,
you're saying.
I
No,
made
wait,
it
let me
through the
finish.
grind.
Don't let the
Let me
game of
finish.
basketball fool you.
Let
It's
me
still a
finish.
job.
At the end of the day, on top of that, Reggie, when you wake up and go to work, you don't feel like that. Do you wake up when you open Twitter and everyone's talking shit about you and why you have to go to work? Nah, you don't.
Nope.
Do you wake up every day and as soon as you go out of your store, you go to the corner store to get some milk, the nigga in the corner say, yo, why aren't you fucking going to work? Why aren't you doing this? Do you have that? No, that doesn't happen to you. Do you, every single where you turn, people open up and know your bank account, how much you got paid, this, that. They don't know about your bills. They don't know where your money's going, but all they know is, yo, Reggie, you're getting paid this much. You got a nice gold watch on your chair. You got a nice car you're driving. Yo, Reggie, why aren't you going to work? Why aren't you doing this? And on top of all that, your boss, your coach, does not respect you as a man and who you are. Even though you're getting paid way more than this guy. You're worth way more than this guy in the organization. But this guy who determines your value on the court doesn't appreciate who you are as a
Because
person.
without him, they can't win a
This
championship.
is the same organization and same people who have had this guy for 8 years and they haven't forced him to change his shot, do nothing. Be like, yo, Ben, you're good, you're great. Ben, you're good, you're great. Ben, you're so good and you're so great. Here's a whole bag for doing the same thing you've been doing since we got you from LSU. You've been doing it so well, we're going to give you this bag. Now, once he's got that bag, now all of a sudden it's like, all right, now we got the bag and you got the fine print. I'm going to need this from you now. Which they've never asked from before. And now you go to work, you're used to doing ABC. You got Employee of the Year, ready for being so good at what you do for doing ABC. You got a raise for doing ABC. Now they're asking for XYZ that you never experienced. You don't even know how to do XYZ. You don't know how to do a pull-up three-point shot like KD. You don't know how to do that stuff.
But at the end of the day, I think it's people. That's the thing with mental health, right? It's inside, right? So we don't. It's tough to see. Okay, is it really
Yeah,
something?
but you're the one saying that it's fake.
Well, I'm questioning it. Right?
Why are you questioning?
Why?
Because Rich Paul's involved.
Okay.
Rich Paul is
So Rich
a
Paul
shrewd
can't have mental health
operator.
issues or what?
Rich Paul has been known to use every single tactic in the book to get their clients what
Rich
they
Paul
want.
is dating Adele.
Rich Paul is a man that knows what he
Side
wants.
topic.
But Rich Paul is not a dumb guy. So
I think Rich Paul knows how to change.
I'm not
people's
blaming
lives.
Rich Paul,
I
but
think
I'm
Rich
just
Paul
saying.
knows how to change people's lives. Because look at what he's done for his athletes. Look at how Adele's life has changed.
Okay.
I mean, look at you know what I mean? Because
So that's fine. I get what you're saying. So let's talk about Kyrie Irving. All right. So Kyrie Irving is a different situation.
he's a man who
where
said, "I don't."
basically Kyrie Irving is basically standing up for his right as a human
standing
being,
up for his right.
looking out for himself.
What's the
his
Me Too thing about my body, my choice, right? That whole thing, my body, my decision, right? Is that
Yeah.
not?
No,
correct me if I'm
100%.
wrong. Isn't that not the big wave right now? My
Exactly.
body, my choice. You can't touch me or tell me what to do with my body. Nothing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's.
So
That's
Kyrie is
right.
basically
And I'm all
using-
for it. You know what I mean? Girl empowerment. You know what I mean? I'm
100%.
all for it. So now, why is it when it comes to males, black males, Andrew Wiggins says, I don't want to take that vaccine. Like I don't really want to, put something in me. Whatever his reasoning, and they said, oh yeah, and whatever happened, look how quick he turned his son. He's like, turn that right around. They said, boy, and he said,
No,
you know
but he
what I mean?
said, I woke up and I'm like, it's either I
No, they
take
said
the
they're gonna find
vaccine.
But
Yeah, but it's either I'm in the
let's
NBA
get
or
back
I'm
to
not
the
in the
topic.
NBA.
Let's
But that's
get
my
back-
whole point.
Let's get back to the topic. We're not talking about Andrew Wiggins. We're talking about Kyrie Irving.
That
This is
comes
my
into
whole
play. That
point,
comes
though,
into
is
play.
that Kyrie basically was told that either you're going to be able to play in the NBA if you take the vaccine, or if you don't take the vaccine, we're not going to let you play.
Okay.
They're taking away his income, taking away his living. Yeah, he's probably made a bag between when he started to now that he doesn't need to really play for the money, which is why he's making such a stand that he is,
Facts.
right? Because he
So
knows.
basically, you're explaining what the point is. The difference between Kyrie and Andrew Wiggins is who's been in the NBA
more
longer,
established.
or just who has more money in terms of financial success.
No,
Because-
it's who really wants to, like Fred Van Fleet says, bet on themselves.
Because I think if Kyrie didn't win a championship, okay, because there's blessings that comes with winning a championship and endorsements and so on. If he was an Andrew Wiggins player where you got to the playoffs one time in your career and got eliminated, okay, would you be willing to
Yeah, but
win?
Wiggins has $100 million. He signed a
That's
$100 million
fine.
bag.
Kyrie's signed multiple contracts.
Kyrie's not Andrew Wiggins.
That's what I'm saying. Kyrie's already financially successful, like you said. It's like the same thing with Kaepernick, right? Kaepernick, when he decided to do the Stanford
Kyrie's still
rights,
losing money though.
he still was financially successful. He's been to the Super Bowl. He did what he could, and then he decided, you know what? At the end of the day, like, I'm no longer a starter, but I'm gonna fight for rights. So what I find the impact, what it's doing for the sports, is just letting players know that you have a voice, know that you don't have to be controlled by the media conglomerates. Know that you don't have to listen to whatever they tell you because you have a right and you have the right to oppose, because if you see contradictions and you don't see facts, why are you going to jump at that? And that's good, because I feel that you need people like Kyrie to remind yourself that you're not just supposed to trust everything that you listen to.
Yeah.
Not to say that what they're doing is wrong, but you need more facts. Unfortunately, in his position, the league has to make money, but for him, he's like, no, my health comes first before making somebody who's comfortable with that decision. Not everyone is comfortable with that decision. But that's the point. He's trying to make that conversation, let people know, be aware.
And the problem is that Kyrie Irving has been scapegoated for since Boston
Yeah.
for being somebody who.
Why is that? Because he's someone
weird,
that's
or someone
educated, that's
I'm just saying, no, but
intelligent.
I'm
for
explaining
sure,
that
for
this is part of the stigma with it,
Yeah.
is that because of that reason. So no matter what, even if Kyrie today came with some scientific ABC reasons why he's doing what he's doing, everyone's always going to look at him funny because he burned sage for the Boston Celtics. You know what I mean? Everyone's going to
That's
always look
fine.
at him funny because he said Earth was flat.
And who's promoting that is a bad thing?
All I'm saying,
No,
like,
but
I'm
that's the
explaining to
thing,
you
yeah,
why
yeah.
society
Yeah.
will always looking at him funny is because of all these things, but you know.
But like that's the thing, like the same thing that you were saying about we can't judge someone's mental health with Ben Simmons. The same thing, we can't be out here judging Kyrie Irving's decision. With
I think the difference between Kyrie
because
and
whatever the
but the
person-
difference between Kyrie and Ben Simmons is that Kyrie, like, people died over COVID. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
Karl Anthony Towns, like 6 members of his family died.
I understand
right?
that.
So that's the difference between that.
But that's
and Ben
situational
Simmons.
stuff. Does not mean that because
Markel Fultz's career died over a jump shot. I'll tell you that.
Thank you. You know what I mean? So there's so many factors in life. What ifs or what ifs? Explain that. But that's straight facts for you.
All right, so we got another sports question here. Are the Warriors championship contender this year?
fact.
Is that really a question? Is that really a question?
Fact.
Like,
What do you mean? Do you understand what is they're missing 2 pieces from a championship?
It's obvious.
Let me tell you what the 2 pieces they're missing from. It's on their bench. They don't even need to go anywhere else. They're just waiting to just get ready in the lab. Klay Thompson, 4 weeks away from just showing up for Christmas.
But the question was kind of like,
homie.
is the sun gonna go up tomorrow? Obviously, the Golden State Warriors are.
But didn't you just say in the last topic, you said the
they're
Nets
not
were
the favorites. I think the Nets are better.
Right now, after what they did to them on
But
Tuesday.
the question is,
no.
Are they contenders?
How is somebody who's a favorite better than the team that disrespected me on Tuesday? Please allow me to understand that. And they're missing 2 of their best players.
Very possible.
In what sense? A 20 piece?
No, I mean
they got 20 piece on their home court. The only way that no, it's not a regular season. It's called Manuel Iman. I looked at you. I saw that you were weak. I saw blood in the water, and I went for the kill. That's what they did. No, I'm not getting confused.
Contenders and favorites are 2 different things. If he beat in the previous question, mentioned that he had 5 teams that were contenders, right? So these teams could win it all, right? But who's the favorites? I don't even know. The VP didn't even say who's his favorite.
No, he mentioned it. He said 2 wild cards, and he had 3 favorites. Remember that. But anyways, back to what I'm trying to say. The Warriors are definitely title contenders. They're only missing 2 players off their bench, which is a sharpshooter named Klay Thompson and a rim protector named James Wiseman. Because if you want to do your history research, last year Phoenix Suns, they're kind of similar to what the Warriors were built, right? They had some 3-and-D players and they had some shooters. Chris Paul was the point guard general. Steph Curry is the point guard general. And then you had the star, which was what's his name? Devin Booker. You know what I mean? We're not putting Klay Thompson and Devin Booker as the same, but they can still light up points easily. That's not a problem. And then he said Michael.
I could put them in the same category.
I would not put them in the same category.
Who's a better player?
They're both. Well, I was saying.
Sorry,
but like no. Like if you try to tell me 1-on-1, who you think is gonna win between the 2? You're gonna take.
But it's not a one-on-one.
In
a matchup situation, if they're both guarding each other in the Western Conference Finals, who's eating each other up?
Wet like book, man.
Wet like book. Thank you. Like my point exactly. I was trying to tell you. Yeah, that's what I said. I was saying Devin Booker is not on the same level as Klay Thompson. That's a fact.
They are on the same level. Come on, we're talking about the guy who scored Devin Booker 70 points in a game. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Klay Thompson who scored 37 points in a quarter. Klay Thompson can light you up. He has good defense. Nobody has good defense. To sit down in a one-on-one matchup, Book is taking it for sure.
He's been in the system all
the life. He's a champion, man. I'm just saying, like, one-on-one, it's a fair matchup, right?
Yo, Devin Booker came from the struggle. Then they got CP3.
Hold on, what's the question again?
We're talking about, are the Warriors legit contenders?
Of course,
man. And I've already enlightened that part, and I give you the reason. But let me let my counterpart speak.
VP, do you think the Warriors are contenders?
Yeah, I mean, in the words of the great KD, anything is possible. You know, and,
KG. Let's go.
KD,
it's all good. You give Kevin Durant love to do.
Wow.
Yeah. But I think it's an obvious one. I think it's an obvious one.
But anything's possible, man. Anything is possible.
If you don't have the Warriors as a favorite, I'm sorry. You either don't know basketball or you're simply a hater.
Boss, let the man speak, man. He's just trying to get
money on the Warriors right now.
Yeah.
Futures, like if
depends what the odds are paying.
Let me just break it down.
It's not the question about the odds. The question was,
it's about right now today. If they're all healthy and there's 2 players coming off the bench.
And I'm not talking about money out of the tree. I'm talking about the money in your account.
If Klay Thompson comes back and it's 85% of what he was,
I probably would.
We have to see how he's going to look.
Let me ask you a question.
Not everybody's Kevin Durant. Not everybody's LeBron James.
Let me ask you a question. What does Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson do? Like when they come back,
they shoot the ball.
No. Klay Thompson shoots the ball. Kevin Durant dribbles and he does like ISO moves and all that. Yes. Klay Thompson's coming off screens, so his job is pretty much easier compared to Kevin Durant. So that's why it was actually legitimate to question: will KD be the same? You trying to tell me that Klay Thompson in the corner cannot?
Okay, but what about the defense of Klay Thompson? That makes
they don't need him no more. They got Andrew Wiggins.
That was the whole purpose.
Andrew Wiggins is younger. That's the whole reason that they gave Klay Thompson time to rest so they could build the squad without him. So when he comes back, he just does the easy work. They don't need Klay Thompson to get injured. They need him for the finals. You don't need him. You got Andrew Wiggins.
Gotta get there first.
But right now, they're looking in a good position. Obviously, it's early. I'm not trying to be premature with it. But I'm trying to tell you, at the end of the day, you tell me Klay Thompson comes back, the guy who can hit 10 3-pointers in a game, it's a wrap. Because they already got...
So Curry's your MVP?
Oh, that's a fact.
Curry's
the MVP. Yeah, it's not even a question. That's not even a question, yeah.
It's a fact.
Straight facts.
Straight facts.
You heard it.